because we're just generally looking at what communication is, and I ask you to get into groups and define what communication is for yourself. How do you see communication? And all those answers were correct. Yeah. What happened? What were the other things that we talk about? We were trying to define communication. Is that correct? And that definition went into, we spent a whole of that afternoon talking about the basic definition of communication. We had a question that says, communication is not complete if it is not replied to. That is wrong. Communication is complete when the message is delivered. We gave examples of the sermon in church. You don't respond in church. You still don't harim talker. So, but did communication take place? So the basic definition is, once that information is communicated and received by the receiver, communication is complete. You will understand him. Semalaman like agiu no. Anybody wants to point out that this is not a fact? Do you agree with the definition? That communication has been complete. We are recapping Monday, and we look at the basic definition of communication. And there was a question from Mosby that stated that communication is not complete when it's not responded to. And my answer was no. Communication is complete when the information or the message or the signal is transferred from sender to receiver. Now, we can define that again. If it is received, look here, send and receive, communication is complete. Right? Responding is initiating the next communication. So responding is part of the communication process. But the definition for the completeness and incompleteness is that communication is complete when the message is received. Yeah. If it is not received, then it is not complete. Now responding, Responding tells us that communication has received. Communication has been received. But all communication does not require response. All communication does not require everything. So, in the example of the sermon, there are responses to it. You got response lema. But the response is delayed for 10 years. Man baharim good news lo 10 years na him no convert. Tingema. That's the response. Now, when it comes to communication person to person, it requires rapid response, spontaneous response. So let's draw the difference between completeness and incomplete communication. Communication is complete when it's received. Response is part of that communication. So let us draw a strict definition of the flow of information. That communication, send and receive. Now I gave you an example yesterday about Monday, about the sending device and the receiving device, right? And the transmission, right? Transmission of the channel. I said that all those devices must be in working condition. Ah, Nathaniel, what do I mean by working condition? Alan, what do I mean by devices in working condition?
Like there are factors affecting communication, uh, especially the channel and the device that I use. For example, if I'm speaking right now but the mic is not working well, then Lay and Mosby will not hear me. Yeah.
You haven't answered my question correctly, but in working condition. When I'm talking about working condition, voice volume or mouse volume must work good, huh? Yeah? Now ear volume must off and stop. It must work good, huh? I'm not going to block, huh? So those two devices must be in working condition. Meaning they're able to what? Process. They're able to complete communication. Even the channel, suppose channel in no good, communication don't have take place. Even it takes place, it won't be quality information. Yeah? Because there will be noises and disturbances. Suppose me talk one time Alena. Na one bla pigin na na karay. Na singaw duty magsim talk me. The channel has noise in it, has distractions and disturbances. Right? You understand what I'm saying? Okay. I'm recapping on from Monday, and it seems that you are not taking the definition of communication. All right. Now, I'm going to slightly change the presentation this afternoon. Get into two people, groups of two, and discuss complete and incomplete communication. Right now. Mosby and Lay. Mosby can form one group, Lay form one group. Now, we are still arguing that communication is not complete when it is not being responded to. So get into groups of two and discuss this controversy. I'll give you guys 5 minutes. Okay, Gila, tell us about what you found out.
Okay, from our group, we said we were like bit struggling whether the communication is incomplete, but we said that it depends on the context. Communication in a business organization is different from the church context, but what we understand the channel of communication in a complete process is when the sender sending message and the receiver receive and give the feedbacks. That's where the communication process is complete.
From the chair, that's wrong. We'll have to get this straight before we get ourselves confused. And I don't want to lead you into sin. No, I won't go to heaven if I lie to you. So I want to get this fixed so that you don't argue stupidly. All right? This is why you call me a harsh teacher. I'm not a harsh teacher. I'm trying to get things straight. Okay.
Different groups here now.
Okay, tell us.
So I'll let the other team and after
Okay, Nathaniel, hurry up. We're running out of time. I didn't plan to do this, but there is an issue that we need to fix.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, the first view is goes with Anton's view and then a poem.
What?
Anton's view. The first view is concerning the purpose of communication, that is to create understanding. Now, when a message is sent, and then there's no indication that the message received, then it defeats the whole purpose of communication. And that makes communication incomplete, meaning also there's no indication that the message received. Because the purpose of communication is to send a message expecting understanding takes place by the receiver. So if the receiver don't understand this, that means there's no communication has taken place.
Okay, enough. Give it to Alan.
Thank you. For my point of view, I realized or came to understand that in communication, I told them there's an example like from MTV or newspaper. We just go and buy a newspaper or we see from MTV, they're communicating and their information are sent to us. And once we saw it or we read it, that's the message has been passed. So we don't need to ask the MTV or the newspaper what happened and you do this and that and all this, and that's from my understanding. So I understand that way.
Okay, good. Mosby. Mosby. What's your answer?
Understanding of complete and incomplete. I would say that the communication is complete when the sender send the message and the receiver receive and give the feedbacks. Incomplete, I would not call that, but I can say that unsuccessful or unclear communication
Okay.
is when the message is not
Good.
clear,
That's very good.
but there is no feedback.
All right. Let's get to the final decision, right? Communication is received. When it's received, it's a complete communication. Whether it's responded to is out of topic. Understand? Complete communication is achieved when the receiver receives the communication. Do you understand? Don't define complete communication as it requires feedback. That's wrong. That's wrong, right? I'm telling you now, and remember it until you die. You have to accept this fact to go to heaven. So don't get yourselves confused. Communication is complete when it is received. Full stop, end of the story. Responding to is not part of the definition we are talking about. We are talking about complete information, communication is complete when the receiver receives. Now, let me give you an example. You have seen some examples already here. You receive a text from DSLR, and what it tells you, don't reply to this message. It blocks you out. You can't reply to the short message. Can you see the meaning? But complete communication has been completed. You saw the message, right? So responding to communication is out of topic, out of this definition of complete communication. Do you understand? Let's rest there in peace, because the rest of the course will not move until you believe in what I'm telling you. Do you understand? Do you understand? That's the divine truth. You understand?
Yes.
So don't confuse yourself. Stick to my definition, and you'll be a better person. You'll be a better manager, a better pastor, a better bishop. You understand? Yes. So let's continue. Okay? Thank you. You brother agree? Yes. I want to fix all of you first with this before we continue. If I don't, I will lead you to hell.
Most
There is enough examples, practical examples.
Nathan Mosby,
There is enough practical examples in the business world, in the church. Now your major assignment will be produce a brochure for your church. Huh? A brochure for your church. Now you're going to hand that brochure to that person. Now. Is that communication complete? Huh? It's complete. You send that brochure to that person now. Yeah?
no.
It's complete. Communication has been completed once you deliver the brochure. Responding to it is out of question. Reading it is out of question. Yeah? All right. So your major assignment will be to go through all the churches around here and produce a brochure about a church and give it back to them. Or give it to the congregation. That's communication. It answers this question that we're dealing with. How respond em wariblo? How English or read him no em wariblo? But you have completed the communication process. It's complete. Is that correct? Okay, let's move on. Okay, now once we go through today's lecture, you will understand and appreciate the fact that I'm correct. I'm correct. You know, every time I speak to people, and you know, I hit the nerves about the truth, and they say, Mister, you are right. And how do I respond? I tell them, I'm always right. So, the communication is complete, but I don't need to respond. We'll look at more reasons why you don't need to respond, or you delay the response. You delay the response. That is when we come to look at communication protocols, the rules of communication. And we will look at emails, email communication. You send an email. On that email application, you can activate the response tab, right? You have on your phone too. You have that on your phone. You can tell if that person receives your message. Is that correct? All right. Let me not ask him your response. You can activate that feature on your phone. Sa you salim message belum meri belum talk. Money misalim pinis na em kisi money pinis. And she didn't know that you activated that function. That's irate me. Em reading pinis. Em kisi money pinis. But them argue talk, me no say, me no email. That's the problem. So when you look at communication, that's communication protocol. It's built into organization, like emails too. You can build into email. You tell them, may email over boss blue and talk. I want you to discuss this. And your boss is so stupid. I'm not so subjective to something. And the email will respond and tell you that your boss has read the email. It will reply to you. That receiver replies to you and says, Peter has received your email at this time. So boss will start, you go 1 week after that, and I'm talk. You check him and talk, I haven't read your email. You send him the reply to him. This tells me that you read my email, you saw my email at this time, at this minute. You read it. That is when we talk about response. Response. So communication has taken place. It's received. It's done. Yeah. So when we bring all those back into management, that's when it becomes fun. That's when you enjoy communication. Right? Okay. So you are clear now. Most people are clear to her. So let's move forward with this definition stuck in our head forever. Can all of you say amen? All right, let's get into the business for today. Tell me if it is 3 o'clock and we'll have a break. Okay, so we have to look at the literal meaning of communication, the process again, the role of language. Jacob asked, you asked this question yesterday. Language. Language is a fundamental tool of communication. Now, me talk less you know you, Paula. So that's it. The role of language in communication. And then communication in management and principles of communication principles of effective communication in business and in church. So I hope to cover that this afternoon. All right? Now, as we go along the way, if you have questions, just stop me here. So, can you repeat this or can you explain this? Where is my... All right. This is when we clear up some of those doubts and some of those confusions. All right? So read that and tell me you really understand that. If not, if you want me to explain something, I can explain. Okay. What is symbols and signs and behavior? What is a symbol? Symbol and picture. Huh? Symbol. Symbol is something that represents something. Symbol is like image, right? Image. The letter A is a symbol, is that correct? Huh? Is the letter A symbol? Is the letter A symbol? And picture. I'm not meaning blame here. But you give it a definition. Number one is just a symbol. When you give number one a meaning, and one plus something, so these are symbols. So we communicate symbols. We talk to you. I'm using symbol. Am I using symbol? Sound symbol. Sauna. Sauna. Sound and Karim. Or symbols ka. Sound. So mi to Karim ba? Tami to Karim. When is something it's not head with Karim in morning. And one blow word. There's a word I'm Karim. The letter K, the letter A, the letter R, the letter I, the letter M. They're all symbols. These are all alphabetical symbols that is transmitted by sound. Right? And the device is my voice. Mouse blow me na. Your blue I'm device too. I'm receiving. Na brain blow I'm decoding. Na give meaning lang am. Now suppose you know got knowledge, which I refer to as a definition database. Karim am not meaning. And language, language is the tool that carries it, makes it meaning. You are clear? So symbols and what? Signs and behavior. Behavior is obviously what? Behavior is obviously what? What do you communicate by behavior? Sign language, You smile or you look also. Oi. Body language, huh? Body language. All right. It involves transmitting, yeah, A to B, sender to receiver, conveying information in a clear, direct manner without interpretation beyond the explicit meaning of the words or signal used. So the literal meaning of communication is that it must be perfect in a language that somebody understands. Yeah? So zoals we talk Kwasam. So it must be what? Clear and direct. I'm speaking directly to you. And it literally means share or to make common. So information. What do we communicate? Information and knowledge, right? Yeah. You may not carry cargo koga. You may communicate information. Like I just give an example about phone text. You, or email. You email Mary Blue, you text him also. You sell him money penis. Yeah? Now, you ask him and respond. Now, because I'm got some like a motive, I'm not respond. And how would you know that she received that information? But you're not aware. Until and unless you activate the auto response function on your phone or on your email application. Then, but you're aware. But communication has been complete. All right. Okay. The last statement says, without figurative or implied interpretations. What is figurative? What is figure language? What is figurative language? You plus are reading Proverbs going on, Song of Songs going on. These all books are full of figure language. You must run and ask you money, Paul. Okay, let me give you an example of a figure language. You salim email or mail room talk, me salim coins companies, or me salim popo companies. That's figure language. The definition is only between you and your wife who understand that. But talk straight, me salim 500 kinagam. No can take me salim 5 popo kam. That's figure language. So what? You must have, what it says, real and conventional meanings without figurative or implied interpretations. So you must have tools to interpret. We are talking about common meaning, normal conversation, communication. There is meaning in it. Now suppose me talk place long, Jacob asked there. You may not understand. So we have somebody from Bukawa interpreting the talk place. So we have interpreting devices that can interpret the meaning of that. So you are clear now. Alex, you not clear him. You clear. So this the literal meaning of communication is what? Exchange. Transmitting information to somebody. Okay, let's move on. All right. Different literal meaning and speaker meaning. Is that thing big enough? Huh? It's too small, huh? Is this what we're doing now? May talk, may blaharin. So it's fixed. And is it dictionary based? It's dictionary based. I talk about definition database in your system. You saw English. Now you sit down, now you understand Ima. All right? It is context based. Huh? The literal meaning is context based. Depending on the context of this communication taking place is the classroom, right? It's the classroom. It's not the church. It's not the church. I'm talking about different subject. The sermon is about something else. All right? It reflects what's explicit state. What is explicit? Not hidden. Straightforward. Clear nakam. All right? So, that's the literal meaning of communication. And there's an example there. The cat is on the mat. Literal means a feline animal is physically positioned on a flat piece of fabric. Yeah? So it's explicit. The cat is on the mat. What do you see the picture? Huh? When I say the cat is on the mat, what's in your head? The crocodile is swimming in Civic River. What do you see in your head? You're looking for books, It's explicit. Because you know what that animal looks like. Now I'm stuck where? Now suppose you know that definition in your head do you are. Time, Caleb explain him. Time all gone. Misi nakamag na looking pukpuka. Huh? Suppose you know that all of pukpuk, you know what he's talking about. Because you have a knowledge of the pukpuk. And so you understand. That's explicit meaning. Okay. Even me no go long, sipik wara. I can see that pukpuk coming out of the dark with red eyes. Huh? Definition, let me talk, let me look him. I was not there. So you understand what I'm saying? So you must get sawe, lo complete in this la communication process. Yeah? So I will keep on coming back to the definition of complete or incomplete communication. What Caleb did on that Sunday was complete. He sent that information from his mouth into my ears, into my brain, and complete. Yeah? So don't argue with me. If you argue, you will fail in your management skills as a pastor and as a leader. Because bayu kisim sila bosha na go gimol man. Na bayu askim him. Something me kisim long, as the Sunday come give me. You read him too. That's beside the point. You gave him already. Communication complete. Right? Okay. Let's move on. Okay. Speaking and is different. So let's look at examples of speaking. The meaning of communication. All right? Use this example that I was using from Caleb. Caleb talked about the crocodile explicitly. Huh? But you read it, refers to the intended meaning. When he was communicating with the church that morning, meaning blamenya, was you must look him meaning. Like crocodile come out of the water. It's not the same thing as lukima. You saw it. You lukima. You were not there. You were not there. he communicate that information to you with the intended meaning by looking book. You can see it, easily see it in your head. Huh? While I was sitting in church, I saw that book coming out. You better look him too, no? What's that look him? If you don't see it, you haven't seen a book coming out of the river with red eyes. And that goes back to your definition, your knowledge in your head. Because me looking book, I know what a book is. And I've read about a book. I've seen book coming out of the river, not in Sepik, but in Amazon. So I have that knowledge in my head. So I understand what the meaning of that communication is. Okay, it depends on the speaker's intentions, beliefs, tone, situation, knowledge between the communicator and the listener. Yeah? So there are a lot of things here. Intention. What is the preacher's intention? Huh? Oi. Usat pastor sedang salah room. If you're a pastor, what is your intention every Sunday at the pulpit?
The pastor's intention is to bring the good news of Jesus Christ into his Christians so that they can understand the word of God.
Very good. Now that's a big picture, huh? But on that particular day, you are preaching on Psalms 20 or Psalms 19. Who knows Psalms 19? What's that Psalms 19? Oh, come on, theology students. I just came from the secular world. Huh? I just came from the secular world, and I know all the verses in Psalms 19. Because that Psalms 19 speaks to me. Do you understand? It speaks to me. So all the Bible verses in the book, the Bible has an what? Intention. Is that correct? Yeah? Is the Bible communicating to you? Is it complete? Is the communication complete? It is. So knock and foul. How you respond? It depends on your beliefs. The next thing, depends on your beliefs. Suppose you believe in Jesus die, now man come back, you might believe. Suppose you not believe, no can blame in communication. Communication has been complete. On church that morning, because you believe or you don't believe. You fall for your clean on such a broken blood like hell around there. Because you see this example in my logic reasoning and critical thinking class. And I shared knowledge between the Bible and you. Yeah? The communicator and you, the listener. Are you all with me? Thank you very much. That I finally converted the sinners. You are not following me. The toughest part of a preacher is to convert somebody. Yeah? And I just convince you beyond doubt that communication takes place when it is received. And the Bible does that. Right? You read your Bible every night. Yeah? Okay. What's next? Exactly. It can differ from literal meaning and direct and indirect. So, explicit meaning and indirect meaning. Yeah? Implications. Okay, example. when someone says, "Can you pass the salt?" the literal meaning is questioning ability, but the speaker meaning is a polite request to hand over the salt shaker. Can you hand me the salt? Yeah? The literal meaning is a karim salt kam. You are in Pinisa. I'm asking you to. Communication has been completed. You shouldn't let me talk him here. You talk him here, blue stop na. Because lo believe blame na. I'm all bell to you. It's not at the meaning. So I'm kissing salt na sudim you are. So the literal meaning has been what? Implied or misinterpreted because of the receiving device that is not in working condition. Are you with me? You must want them here. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Get the computer, microphone and ask the question. Break time, Okay, we'll take a break for 5 minutes. Okay, we'll come back at 5:08. We're going to draw some differences from literal and speaker meaning. So when you say something, when I say 5 minutes, it's fixed. Huh? The definition of that 5 minutes is number 5. Huh? Number 5 and minutes. The meaning of minutes is what? Measured by what? 5 minutes is how many seconds? 5 times 60 is, yeah, that's how it is defined. The explicit meaning is, but time you're going to tell ahead blue you redefine it. You give it a new meaning. And in management, that is dangerous. Okay, context dependence. Literal and speaker is the same. Yeah? The literal meaning of 5 minutes in the context of this classroom is the same as what I speak, what I say. Stability, constant across context. And by speaker varies situation, tone, speaker, and intentions. So if we use 5 minutes, 5 minutes is whether in chats, wait, context for chats and different classroom, is correct. Huh? Yeah. So it said it should be across. You can't go to chats and say 5 minutes in chat is 10 minutes. 5 minutes by a white man is 5 minutes. In PNG is what? 10 minutes. So the meaning of that that information communicate has to be stable across context for both literal meaning and speaker meaning. Types of meaning. The literal meaning is denotation, the exact meaning. The speaker meaning can be implied, or connotation, or indirect. So if I say cat, the literal meaning of cat, it's a cat, right? Yeah? It's an animal, right? But the speaker can mean something else, right? In the way he says, in the context. So what is connotation? Connotation is the implicated or the implied meaning So if I say cat to a woman, huh? The literal meaning is the animal. Huh? But when I speak it to a woman, my connotation changes. Itu dog lah animal, itu lah you cat, come here. Or dog, come here. She's not a dog. Or pig, come here. You think him, speakers can have connotations in the context of that communication. Do you understand? So that's theory here. So this we are going to definitions now. So I want you to see the different, using the examples of the literal meaning of communication and how it is played in different contexts, from the speaker to the listener, and having to understand the meaning. So if I tell Caleb, Kwasam dog ya, Caleb will run and know a dog. So the speaker meaning is actually a connotation. I'm looking, no a dog la omla miris na ba. I'm dog, minol ga dog. But the speaker said, promote the dog. That's a connotation. It's the implied meaning or a different meaning. A subject, an object. All right, let's move on. Do we have enough time to cover this? We have to run through it. All these readings are on cluster. The mouse blew me away. Okay, now we come to the process, right? This process will confirm the argument that I'm communicating with Josh using what? Body language. So I'm doing this and you see this. That's communication, right? Communication has been completed. He received my signal and he responded to it, right? But when I did this and he did this, he received my comment. He received my information by body language and he responded to it. Okay, now, this is the fundamental, right? You need to know this so that you don't argue with me about complete or incomplete. Sender encoding message channel, receiver decoding feedback and noise. All right? Responding is what? Feedback, huh? Yeah? Yeah? So, sender sends it. The process where the sender converts thoughts information into communicable form, such as words, symbols, and gestures. Message is actual content or information or knowledge being communicated. The channel is whether a phone line or Wi-Fi or gesture, and the receiver. The receiver receives it, decodes it, and then sends a response. So when it comes to number 6, by number 5, communication has been completed. All right? Decoding is the receiver. What's decoding? I'm defining. I'm defining this message of communication. I'm defining this information. Nas. Sabo Sam got good blood decoder. Decoder belum ini mana sampai. Brain ya. Im decodim. Nah, because Sam got database definition. I understand him. I understand him. Nah, I'm what? I'm working on it. Feedback. There's the feedback and noise additional to the communication process. Noise is anything that disrupts or distracts the what? The literal, the original. The original meaning. Okay? Any questions before we move to the next? Any question? Okay, no got question.
Yeah, one question.
Okay, question lo must be, yeah? Must be only.
Yes.
Okay, ask him.
The question is, you said that the communication completes when the receiver receives the information. So, what about decoding and the feedback?
That is the after receiving process. Receiving and decoding are two different things. Two different activities that happens in your brain. You understand? Yeah? Let's complete one activity first. That activity is called question block form and me talk. I'm asking you me all same. Is communication complete when it's received or when it's decoded? The answer is I must receive in past tense, now I must decode him. Does that answer your question? Must be.
Yes.
You are in question, answer or question blue you are. Question blue you talk. Is communication complete when it's received or when it's decoded? The answer is communication is complete when it's received. Decoding is the next process. Arima,
Yes, yes, but what if the feedback is not the feedback that you expect? It's different.
what happened?
Because receives comes after decoding that feedback.
Feedback comes after decoding.
So
Oi,
yes,
feedback comes after
feedbacks-
decoding.
yes, that's what I said. That's what I mean. If the feedback is not the feedback that the center expects, then I think the communication is not complete. That's what I was thinking.
Now let's get it. Let's get the definition correct. Receive, decode, then response. You understand? Not the other way around. Communication is complete when it's received. It is then being decoded, and depends on the decoding, how good the decoding is. Then the feedback takes place. That's the order. Is that clear?
Nathan, next layer. The what we understand from here is like the receiving end, the reception, the receiver, the receiving and the decoding. They happen simultaneously. That's why at that rate, like it's like instantaneously. So the process is yeah, that's how we understand. So no matter what, it happens. Even though it's a process, but it happens simultaneously.
Can you give me an example?
What's a comment?
We are talking about the literal meaning of the communication process. simultaneous is wrong. If you look at the technical meaning of simultaneous, if you break it down, information has to be received and decoded. It's the next process. It takes time. It takes time. It takes time. If I talk to you now, I'm talking to you. I'm asking you a question, right? Do you respond simultaneously? Do you decode it simultaneously? No. The information process, communication process has to be completed. Then decoding takes place. Yeah? This is the literal meaning of the completion of communication. Now, I leave that to you. I leave that to you to decide. You can have your own definition. You can use simultaneously. That is correct. But I'm talking about the literal meaning of the communication, the fundamental process, right? Yeah. Suppose teacher talking, you go outside. You receive the information. You decode it. You decode it. It's the next process. You decode it. It can happen simultaneously depending on your device. We are looking at the literal meaning of the basic process that takes place. Are you
Yeah, Nathan.
Yes.
Sorry, one question again. If the feedback is not the feedback that you wanted, that means that the communication is, the information is not received well.
You are correct.
That's why, like I was thinking.
You are
That's
correct.
why I was thinking.
The
The communication should be completed if the feedback is good.
That is still wrong. I go back to the literal meaning of complete communication. I don't know why I'm explaining this thing for 2 days.
Nathan. Okay, thank you. We understand. Maybe people accept the literal meaning. Yeah, when the receiver receives, that's complete of communication now. The decoding part, it comes after that. But like while you are like, if our, what do you call it? If our database, like what you said, the definition database, like and stop. While you are talking, or while the message has been communicated, understanding happens at that level. I mean, that's like instantaneously. I think that's what I was trying to explain. But we accept that by definition, communication is complete when the receiver receives.
Exactly. Exactly.
It must be.
Now, the decoding is the process that tries to finds meaning to that information. Is that correct? Is that correct?
That is correct. Am you right?
Almost bloody me.
Yes.
Communication is complete when it's received. It is not complete when it's not received. Arima. Suppose communication and not received. It's not complete. When is communication not received? Oi.
Nathan,
When is
Mosby,
communication not
please.
received? What happens when communication is not received? Huh?
If communication is not
When is
received,
communication not received?
then there is a communication breakdown.
We are still beating around the bush. We are confusing ourselves with definitions, and you don't believe in what I say. Because you have your own definition of communication. So I'm asking you this question. When is communication not complete? When is communication not complete? When it is not received. Okay. Caleb, wait. Caleb, block him your way. Block him to blow. Block him strong. You stupid man. Did you hear what I said? Because that device is faulty. That's what I'm explaining. And it's taking 2 days to explain this thing. It's taking 4 hours to explain this simple, basic definition of communication. What does this imply? What does this imply? Teacher-student relationship, a knowledge-based relationship. You don't trust me. You don't believe in what I said. I don't have credibility doing communication. You don't believe in what I say. But I just demonstrated. Very clear demonstration. Is that clear? Is that very clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to lead you to destruction. I don't want to lead you to destruction. It is my duty. It is my duty to be responsible and accountable to what I'm teaching. And if you don't believe in me, I'm sorry. You gotta find somebody else to teach this course. And I'm serious. I'm very serious. I just demonstrated the complete communication. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And I demonstrated by
Yes.
saying, let me finish. Let me finish. I demonstrated by telling Caleb to block his ears. He didn't receive the communication because of what? The receiving device. The receiving device. So that is when communication was not complete. Then I demonstrated again what complete communication is now. Yeah? And he received it. And then he decodes it. So decoding has to take place after receiving it. It's not simultaneous. It's not simultaneous. It takes that split minute or second to decode. Yeah? So this is, we're talking the literal meaning of complete communication. Is everyone with me? You can argue with me if you want to. Keep go on arguing with me, but this is the process I'm telling you. All right? If you read textbooks that talk about simultaneous, huh? Simultaneous, what?
Reactions.
Receiving and decoding, please give me that author of that book so that I can read.
Nathan,
Yo,
sorry, I use the word simultaneously. Play. I use the word simultaneously, sorry, meaning instantaneously. I think not simultaneously, but sometimes it's instantaneously. So I'll withdraw that word simultaneously. And I just want to propose that word instantaneously. Thank you.
okay, now if you look at the process, if you look at the process in steps, in steps, in minutes, it's not simultaneously.
Yeah.
There's got to be a space. Yeah? There's got to be a space between receiving and decoding. Definitely. And I will argue with the point. There is a space. There is a process that takes place. It has to happen. It has to happen. So receive, decode, and respond. Yeah? So receive, decode, and respond. According to the notes on the body, right? Yeah? We all agree,
Yeah,
right?
agree. Yes.
We
agree.
agree. Let's agree. Now, all this knowledge, when it is put into management, communication in management, all this process takes place. It takes place. Anton, it takes place. You receive an email, you make your name. You decode him, yeah. Correct. You receive now, you find meaning to it. It's not instantaneous. It's not simultaneous. Why? It takes time. It takes time. It takes time to find meaning to that email. Now, depending on brain blue you, it will take 10 years to decode it. Find meaning to it. That's intense. Hey, I'm taking time now. Yeah. You sit down now, you. One of the things that happen in management is that you react to an email. You don't respond. There's a difference between react and responding. Because it takes time for you to decode it, find meaning to it, and respond or give a feedback. When you react simultaneously or instantaneously, you can lose your job. You understand? You can lose your job. You understand? We are suspending you. Comes in an email. We are suspending you. You know, sit down and you study the content of that email. You instantly react. You're not responding. That's simultaneous. That's instant. What happens? What happens? You send the wrong message. And the next thing comes is your termination letter. Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? We are talking about
Yes,
communication.
sir.
We're talking about
Can
communication.
you explain?
Explain what?
Sorry, can you explain when to respond and when to react?
I'm talking about the difference between reaction and responding. There's a difference between reaction and responding. Responding is the delayed reply. Yeah? Reaction is instant reply.
Instant.
The difference between instant reaction and responding is the time given to decoding the information. Are you with me? Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Does that answer your question? Mosby, does that answer your question?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
So now you know the difference between reacting and responding. Responding takes some time to decode the message. Reacting is not applying decoding to the message. You instantly reply. Are you with me? Is everyone with me? You blah. What? Harry said to him. Am I right? What does Harry say in the announcement? I'm talking. Am I right? What is he trying to say? You understood the message. I'm asking you, blah. Am I right? What is he implying? You are him, you understand that? Okay. So am I right? Wisdom Salayarina. Okay, so that's the process. What's next? Okay, we are again looking at the process. Sender, message, channel, receiver, decode, feedback, the environment, and interferences. Right? We have gone through that practically today. Right? All that has been applied today in today's presentation. We had a sender, we had a message, which is the PowerPoint presentation. The channel is in the classroom. It's the sound waves. For Mosby and Lay, it's the internet cables. Yeah? Internet cables. And the receiver is the people in Mosby and Lay. Decoding is the brains here and the brains in Mosby. Now, the decoding can be good if the channels were correct. Right? You think, Ima? Are you with me? Decoding and making one M. And finding meaning lot. Tok belum migolop. Okay, boleh. So, online no Mosby only follow decoding, Ima. Huh? Because cable ibarat speaker labi barat. Alex, you with me? Okay, so then, so there were so there was interference, noise. The environment was classroom, online classroom. This is physical classroom. Over there is what? Online classroom also. All those things took place. Next, the oral language. Okay. We all have been speaking English this afternoon. Oi, you must have me. Language me use ma'am. English, The same language is used to decode. Yeah? Encode and decode. Are you with me? Suppose you know English. Feedback button uptake, please. So that's so language supports creation and set meaning. You look on PowerPoint presentation of me. You understand him? So, but it was in English. Yeah? Number 4 says, language integrates verbal and then non-verbal cues. What is cues? What is a cue? What is a cue in English? Anyone's got a phone here? Go to Google na pani meaning area. Language integrates verbal and non-verbal cues. What is cue? Cue is the tone, the gesture, the expressions, right? So language is essential tool that bridges the minds, the shapes, understanding, and enables what?
Layered process.
The process of communication to what? Oi, take place. Oh, yo. Language enabling one. Communication to take place. Suppose me talk long now, but talk place. Communication take place or not? Not. You aren't, but brain blue no talk place. Yeah. You know say talk place so. Decoding me gonna follow decode. Because no got meaning. Long brain blue you. No got talk place hell is that. We talk hell I go on the money no. We talk buka on the money no. Because communication take place, but no that's the meaning here. You like clear? Any questions? All right, let's come to management. We'll do management very fast. Time up. Okay, we'll cover management on next week. All right? All right, so I plan to finish with management. But we have so many questions. Yeah. So I was going to look at communication and management. I plan to cover communication and management in this session, but because we had questions that we need to sort out, so questions took up almost 30 minutes of presentation. So we will continue with communication and management on Monday, yeah. Monday? All right. Okay, thank you for being part of this afternoon session. I hope you make meaning. Yeah. The aim of this session was to find the meaning to what? Complete communication. Yeah? Complete communication and apply it to management. Huh? Look at communication in management, right? So if you fail to understand communication, the meaning of complete communication, you will fail to understand it is in management. Are you with me?